doing the show.
Oh, is the Twitch stream not open, or is it open?
I just opened it. I almost started the show without the Twitch stream open, and
no, I think I had the same sweatshirt on last time. That's why I must see myself in the same sweatshirt. I'm like, oh, that's what I'm wearing right now. That must be the live feed.
And I'm probably wearing the same shirt, so it's like,
yeah.
All right, we're up to 560. All right, here we go.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Rocking the New York Blues. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is the New York Knicks Podcast, episode 560, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. So the Knicks, since the last show, played 2 games, and those games will either convince you. One game will convince you the Knicks are back and ready to make a push for the playoffs. This is the team we want to watch. And one game will make you think, should we just give up right now?
It is definitely a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team this season.
Yes.
The painful thing is if they won today's game against the Hornets, they would have tied for 7th place, almost out of the play-in tournament. And now they're back down to 10th place. I mean, the East is really tight right now, so you can move up or down really quickly. It's just a little frustrating. It's like every time they get almost there, they have a stumble.
It was a great victory against the Hawks. It was one of those victories you're like, yeah. I mean, I know the Hawks aren't that good this year, but they still are good. They're the Hawks. It was one of those, like, everyone played well. It wasn't like the bench unit leading you to victory. The 5 starters all had great games, or all had really good games at least.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those games you're like, oh, the team is functioning the way it was supposed to on day 1 of the season. We are finally there. The future is bright. And then the Charlotte game, you're like, I mean, I get Miles Bridges is good, but this is ridiculous. It was just like nothing went right, basically.
Yeah, so career high, 38 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists for Bridges. It was not.
Would you trade Julius Randle and 2 firsts for Miles Bridges right now?
I mean, that's better than just outright drafting him, right?
If only, was there anyone else we drafted above him that we just included as a throw in the Cam Reddish trade?
I know everyone's like saying, well, you know, we did draft Knox, but we got Cam Reddish. Do you really think that Knox is what put Cam Reddish trade over the top? Like,
yeah, like that was a trade for a 1st round pick. That was the Charlotte. That's what the Hawks wanted. They did not like. It was like, oh, I mean, if Knox is lying around, you don't mind giving him to us.
Right. It's not like they were like, no, we're holding out for Knox, guys. Just
guys.
Trades
I mean,
happening.
I get you're giving us a 1st round pick, but we want real. Like, it doesn't matter. The first to throw in Knox is what solidifies this deal for us.
There's also a lot of retcons going on on Nick's Twitter right now about Kevin.
I'm sorry. What?
Sorry, I'm using my comic book lingo with you.
A Redcon?
Retcon. That is retro.
Wait, hang on. Spell it for me.
RETCON. You're gonna look it up because you're not gonna believe my.
No. I'm not looking it up. I'm gonna try. So retcon. So I imagine you're shortening 2 words.
Retroactive continuity.
So I guess like you didn't have till the end of time for me to try to figure that out.
So it's like in comics where they'll change the backstory of a character. Even though he had like a 30-year history, they'll be like, oh no, by the way, this happened instead. And it like changes the whole. So people are doing that with Knox. And they're saying like, you know, we don't know if he was actually bad because the Knicks never gave him a chance, you know, ignoring the fact that he played like 30 minutes a game for his first season, or like.
I think his dad was quoted as saying something along, paraphrasing him, that like, I don't know why they didn't use him. Like, I don't know why he didn't get a chance in New York. And I'm like, dude, like, did you not watch your son? Like, he's had plenty of opportunities in the Knicks. He's not really good.
He's a career 37% shooter, from the field.
I am
and
I
he
am
doesn't
sure-
play defense.
I'm sure if Knox went down to your local Y, he'd freaking dominate.
You wouldn't
I'm
score a
sure-
point against him. You would.
Yeah. Yeah, I am sure he would dominate. He would completely dominate. It's just like in the terms I bet if he went to the G League, how do you think Knox would do in the G League?
I think he would do very good in the G League. I saw a tweet that really summed it up great. It said it must be the weirdest thing to be good enough to be in the NBA, but also be a bad NBA player. It must be like just a weird experience. 'Cause you're better than like 99.99% of the world, but you're not good in this one group of people. Like it's got to be a weird experience.
Yeah. You're so elite, yet where you actually play, you're considered bad.
Yeah, it's got to be surreal.
Yeah, it's got to be surreal. But in terms of NBA, his 3-point shot looks decent. I bet over the course of a season, his 3-point shot would look. I bet he could just be an above average 3-point shooter. You'd agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And that's his only skill.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is it. Like, I remember at the Steve Novak days, and Novak was a good 3-point shooter. I don't feel even Novak was as bad on defense as Kevin Knox is.
And he's only shot above league average from 3 1 out of his 4 seasons.
Right. It was also the more recent. Like when he first got to the league, he wasn't a good 3-point shooter either. He wasn't good at anything.
Yeah.
He's a terrible finisher.
Yep. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it.
Awesome. He's a terrible finisher at the rim. There's no reason to bash him either. It's just like it's weird. I know what you're saying. So people are going around saying he never really had a shot. Like it's the way. So we are spending all this time now talking up Cam Reddish. They're like Cam Reddish. Like I think his coach said, like who that said that he's comparable to Paul George? Like an absurd comparison for a guy that hasn't done anything in the league. And, like,
Right. Yeah. Let's settle down a little bit.
Yeah, he's in his 3rd year. He hasn't done that much. I mean, like my understanding, Cam Reddish has shown flashes. His 3-point, even his 3-point percentage. I know we did talk about it a little bit in the last show. It's really boosted by the fact that he had like 3 awesome 3-point shooting performances this year. He had 3 games where he shot the lights out, and not that you could just remove that, but that really kind of boosts his 3-point average this year.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, he's got a lot of potential, but Cam Reddish did not show his potential at Duke. And in 3 years, or 2.5 years on the Hawks, it wasn't like he showed it. It wasn't like the Hawks were like, he's so good, we can't trade him. They were like, he's got a lot of potential. We don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Do you know who had potential, didn't really do much for 3 years, and then blew up in year 4?
Who?
Tracy McGrady.
Did he not do anything in his first 3 years?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So we traded for Tracy McGrady?
That's what I'm saying. I'm calling it right now.
Okay. Because McGrady was darn good. So he was drafted out of high school, if I recall correctly. His first 3 years, now I'm looking at it, he was a decent shoot. He was terrible from 3. I don't think he was ever a good 3-point shooter. But
he was shooting like 20 something percent, like his second and 3rd year.
His 3rd year, he was so in fairness, it was his first 2 years. His 3rd year, he was averaging 50 points a game. His 4th year, he was averaging 26. Obviously, he really blew up.
I'd say going from 15 to 27 points a game is a pretty big leap.
Yeah, that is yeah. But I'm saying like a guy that scores 15 points a game is not like he's already a pretty good player.
Yeah.
So like the leap was really year 2 to 3 when he goes from 9 to 15. 9 points a game, whatever. You're like your bench player. 15 points a game, you're an important part of this team going forward.
Right.
At age 20, and he also, anyway. Also, Tracy McGrady, nothing against Cam again. Tracy McGrady was a freak athlete.
Yeah, just like Cam.
Okay, I mean, fine, whatever. Anyway, we did an emergency trade episode for Cam. We're excited Cam's on the team. We're excited also to actually see him play for the Knicks. It hasn't happened yet. It's been 2 games because he has been injured. Because that's just our luck.
Yep.
But so anyway, my bigger point was, as we are trying to talk ourselves into Cam Reddish and hyping him up a little bit, I'm sure Hawks fans. Actually, from reading Hawks fans message boards or Reddit, they're at least Hawks fans, a subreddit. Those fans do not think Knox is going to be good. So it's just the fact that Knicks fans like to torture themselves.
Yeah.
They like to talk up guys. They're too much. And anyone that's like leaving, they actually like, we've lost. Like, it was like Damian Dotson. We gave up on him too early. Oh my God, Damian Dotson. Oh, wait. A year and a half later, we could pick him up as a 10-day contract because the guys are out with COVID because no one wants him on their team.
Steve Novak.
Steve Novak was pretty good. What's your issue with Steve Novak?
No, I mean, it's just like, didn't really do much when he left.
Yeah, yes. We talk up a lot of guys. Yes, we have a history of talking up guys and having them leave and then not being like anything special. But Jay.
Trade rumors.
Well, before that, Jay,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to wish happy birthday?
Happy birthday to Tibbs.
Yeah. He's a young, spry 64 years old.
The Knicks' birthday present to Tibbs was letting Bridges score all day. It was bad.
The Knicks present to Tibbs was like to give him an aneurysm.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
trade rumors.
There's a few. I hope that.
What's up, Jay?
No, Nomad's. I think Nomad's messing with us.
Why? What did he say?
Trade alert: Fournier for Eric Gordon and a 2nd-round pick. I know
And
the Rockets. The Rockets were asking for a first like 5 hours ago, which I don't think they.
okay, well, they would not trade. Okay, they traded for Cam Reddish. It was a young player who has a lot of potential ahead of him. Eric Gordon's a fine player, but the guy's like I think he's older than Fournier.
Yeah, he's 33.
Yeah,
with
like
a very
I don't
extensive
think
injury history.
I don't think Rose is making that kind of, and he's been healthy lately, but whatever. I don't think Rose is making a trade to, unless is Gordon's, he's making up these trades. I don't think there's a chance he would trade for Eric Gordon right now.
So-
I think I think he's looking towards the future.
I looked on Lakers Twitter, and they're getting everybody. They're getting Turner. They're getting Jeremy Grant. They're getting Jalen Brunson. I don't know for what.
LeBron James had to apologize to Magic Johnson for how shitty the team is.
They seem
The Lakers, they are not having the season they wanted.
They seem to think that Talon Horton Tucker is going to get them whatever they want on the trade market, which is I find very funny.
It's a funny thing with the Lakers is that this is LeBron's 3rd year with the Lakers. Is that correct? So first year they don't make the playoffs, and there's injuries and everything else. I mean, he was injured, but 2nd year they win the title, and 3rd year back to not.
Oh no!
This is the 4th year.
Yeah.
4th year. 3rd year they get knocked out of the first round. And the 4th year they may not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he got a title for them, so you have to consider it all overall a success. But like,
If the Knicks
it's been
won a title,
brutal run.
I would coast for the next 20 years. The problem
Yeah.
is Lakers are spoiled. They've been in, 29 finals at this point. It's disgusting. So
okay, so
yeah.
the Knicks rumors, the real rumors out there. There's the Jalen Brunson rumor, which he's going to be a free agent this summer.
Mhm.
The Knicks, I don't think, have the money to sign him, so they think they'd have to assign and trade anyway. There's a good thing that Dallas likes former Knicks, so that there's actually there would be an ability to get a trade done. I feel
there's
like there.
15 Knicks on the Knicks, so there's a lot of Knicks to choose from.
They probably like, why did you trade Knox to not us? That's bullshit.
Right.
They said Brunson. The rumor is he wants $80 million over 4 years. If the Knicks could somehow work out a sign and trade, I'd do that. Brunson's he's 6'1", so he's not tall, which is a bit of an issue. I don't know if you really want a short point guard, but he's looked pretty good for Dallas. He'd be a reasonable solution, or an attempt at a solution for point guard.
Fred VanVleet's short though, right?
Yeah, I think he's the same height, and he's pretty awesome.
I think we'd be okay with VanVleet.
Yeah, I don't think there's no Fred VanVleet rumor though. I don't think Toronto's trading him.
No. I'm just saying, like, he's short. He's the same height as Brunson, and we'd be happy with him. So I don't think like
Muggsy Bogues is short. I mean, what's your point, Jay?
you just said you don't want a short point guard, and I'm saying
I'm just saying overall, you don't necessarily want a short point guard because they struggle on defense and not as switchable as other positions. At the same time, Brunson's been pretty good. I would take him. I think he's a reasonable guy to go for.
Anthony said we don't need a point guard. You guys saw the terrific game IQ had. He's making fun of Nick's Twitter where everybody's saying we have our point guard on the roster already.
Oh my God. Alec Burks has been okay holding on the fort where he's only kind of playing point guard.
Yeah.
But what are the other rumors? I'm sure there's a Miles Turner still rumor out there.
Yeah,
Rumors
there's a Miles Turner rumor, and there's a Jeremy Grant rumor.
Pacers want 2 first-round picks for him, so it seems unlikely the Knicks would do that. Or it doesn't seem like that would make a lot of sense. I don't know if how much that elevates the team. Also, Mitchell Robinson's been playing a little bit better lately, or a lot better lately, which also makes maybe the Knicks would just try to keep Mitchell Robinson. I don't know, but Turner also would cost a lot of money in free agency when they have to sign. Does he have a deal already, or they'd have to sign him in the offseason, or what's the deal with the Turner?
He has a deal, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. But the fact that Robinson's playing better kind of complicates things a little bit more.
Right. It's just because he's got a lot of potential, Mitchell Robinson, and if you feel like his potential may take off, you can get him for less money than Miles Turner. You don't have to trade first-round picks to get Mitchell Robinson because you're on a team.
Turner has
it does complicate.
1 more year at 18.
Okay, and then you have to sign him from there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's expensive. You're already paying Noel at 10. You're putting a lot of money into the center position. It'd be nice. I mean, one of the things is Turner's been on the Pacers for a while. The potential is there with Turner, but it's not like the Pacers are all that good either.
I mean, I would really just rather a point guard. I feel like everyone plays better when you have a good point guard.
And then there's Grant or Jeremy Grant. Wait,
yeah, who has
yeah.
one year at 21 next year.
I don't understand that. I don't know. What do you think of that? What do you think of that idea?
I mean, he's good. He's scoring over 20 a game. I don't know if he's exactly what the Knicks need though. I feel like he's kind of like a high volume, not super efficient. Like he's not really good at the 3. He doesn't even shoot a good percentage from 2. He gets 5 rebounds. That's not great for a power forward.
In Denver, well, I guess he also plays a small forward. I assume if you're keeping Randall and getting him, then you're putting him at small forward, I assume. And he was known for defense in Denver for his brief time. He's been till he got to Detroit, he was known for as being a defensive player. Obviously there's an offense there. He seems like a guy that will get a lot of points on a really bad team until the team has someone better to take the ball away from him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The Knicks seem to have enough inefficient, streaky shooters, and
inefficient is just the name of this team. Yeah. Everyone is in it. We talked about last show. When's the next time a guy who's not a center is going to shoot 50% or above?
Right.
I don't know. It's pretty brutal actually how few guys can do that in this team or have potential to do that. So the 2 games. You want to talk briefly about the 2 games?
Yeah, I was just about to mention. The Knicks have some really streaky players, especially players like Fournier, who don't really play defense at all. And
he's been trying a little.
He tries, but
he's been in the Hawks game. He didn't look that bad. I mean, everyone looked terrible against Miles Bridges, but and they left Fournier too long in the first quarter when he was just getting crushed. But yeah, I don't know. Fournier he's streaky. Yeah, what were we going to say about him?
So what I was going to say is there's a lot of guys on the bench who can put up some points. If you have a streaky guy who just doesn't have it that day, take him out. Put in IQ. If IQ doesn't have it, take him out. Put in Grimes. Somebody's going to start hitting shots.
When does IQ have it? It seems so rarely these days.
He's been much better at distributing the ball, but then his shot has been terrible. So it's can't you just do both?
Yeah. I guess his numbers for the Hornets game were fine. He doesn't, to me, quickly. I'm just not getting the sense quickly is going to emerge as a consistent. You need to be consistent to be good. There are very few guys that are consistent on this team.
He's shooting all-time great free throw percentage, but
yes,
he's shooting absolutely terrible everywhere else. 38.5% from the field, 34.5% from three. It's bad.
And so quickly, the reason he's so good at shooting free throws, you understand, is that like the other team doesn't play defense. They just leave him open at the free throw line. And I'm saying that because they must be guarding the Knicks, the rest of the players at the free throw line. The Knicks probably are probably shooting contested free throws just based on the fact that they miss so many goddamn free throws every game. They were 11 for 21. You know what those 10 missed free throws? That was the difference in the score of the game.
Yeah.
Not that they were going to shoot 21 for 21. That would be a little bit much to ask. But how do you shoot 50% from the free throw line? How bad can you goddamn be? Like,
Yeah. For an entire team to shoot that bad, that's really
holy shit. RJ Barrett, I'm like RJ Barrett. He's playing a lot better lately. But I cannot believe in his shot until he can shoot a goddamn free throw.
Yeah.
How can he be so bad at free throw shooting?
Nomad wants to know when Barrett's rookie contract is up, what would you consider an extreme overpay?
A max deal would be an extreme overpay. It'd be extreme overpay. I don't see, like, he hasn't demonstrated max, like.
Would you consider $20 million a year an overpay?
Probably. I mean, yes, but I think that would be probably within reason. If it was like a 4 or 5 year, 20 million per season, it seems like that would be what you kind of have to do because you're also betting on his future potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like he's earned it up to this point, but you're betting that he'll earn it going forward, and it's a reasonable bet to make.
Right.
And he may want more money, but you might want to be able to hit a free throw if you want more money.
Yeah, I'm looking up what he's shooting for free throw percentage this year. He's shooting 70%, which is not good, but it feels like it's worse.
It feels like it's worse. It feels like every time he goes to the line, every time he gets fouled and goes to the line, I'm always like, well, there's only 1 point. Good strategy on the other team. Like,
He's also regressed in every statistical category this season.
He's been playing better, and so a lot of people are pointing out that over the last 7 games or last 8 games, his stats look pretty good. It's just that you have to point that out because prior to those games, his stats look horrendous.
Right. It's like, well, he didn't look good for 30, so I'm glad he's been looking really good over the last 7. But
by the way, I was looking after the game. I was like, oh wow. I mean, Randall got 10 rebounds and RJ got 12 rebounds. The Knicks did really well on rebound. Oh wait, because they missed every shot, so there's
Right,
lots
exactly.
of rebounds.
Yeah, when you're shooting like 12%, there's a lot of rebounds to be had.
So RJ generally he's been playing a lot better lately. He's been much better at going to his patented move, basically going to the basket and kind of going around a defender. I love that. Mm-hmm. I want to see more of it. I want to see more of him being aggressive. His 3-point shot has been a lot better lately also. He's trending upward, right?
Yeah, he's trending upward. I mean,
he really hit near rock bottom maybe 10 games ago, and it's finally getting back. He's finally coming back to life.
I'm going to withhold my extreme excitement until this streak hits like 10, 15 games.
I'd like to see the rest of the season, him to look pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I'll really believe in him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. People are going nuts over, a couple weeks, which it's great, but like we're talking like 2 weeks.
I mean, I feel like the Knicks' future is really kind of built around RJ being good. Everyone else, you really like you need talent, young talent to really like build from. And no one else is all like Quickly's fine, but we're not really sure Quickly's going to be a starter in the league. Same with Grimes, same with all the other young players they have. The one guy you're like, this guy's a starter, and this guy has to be a future all-star if this team to really have like a high ceiling is RJ. And if RJ's going to suck, then you might as well just go back to tanking and try to find like a superstar, or I don't know. And everything's built around RJ being good.
Yeah, I mean, the Nets last year was the first team in as long as I can remember that haven't drafted one of their top 3 players. Like every playoff team every year, at least one of the top 3 they've drafted.
You have to hit the lottery in free agency, where guys conspire to get to your team, or you have to. And it's really, even if you do that, most of the time you have to have drafted one player. Like even the famous Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade was drafted by them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you name any team, any championship team, really.
And not that you don't always have to have like a top 5 pick either, because obviously, like Miles Bridges, who looks like someone the Hornets really, between that and LaMelo, they've got like a pretty good core there. And a few other players also are pretty good. But like Miles Bridges was like what, the 12th or 13th pick?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's going to be pretty awesome. He looks like he has a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah.
God, I wish the Knicks had a draft pick that year. It's just the Knicks wasted so many draft. I saw someone on Twitter or someone was like, because when the Knicks traded Knox, they were like who's the guy who's the last guy the Knicks extended? Charlie Ward.
It signed past their rookie contract.
Yeah.
Charlie Ward.
So they're like the Charlie Ward curse still lives. Another rookie guy not signed past his rookie contract, and the Knicks Twitter account, whatever the person was, who was like, stop with these old Knicks narratives. Like this stuff doesn't matter. Like stop trying to like troll us with your crap. Like yeah, it does matter. The Knicks have been bad at drafting and developing players for a long time. This is just a reminder that the Knicks have not. It's pathetic not to have extended someone this long.
Especially since they had a string of guys that were actually good picks that they chose not to pass on as well. Like Ariza's had like almost a 20-year career. Would have been nice to have a guy like that. You had Fry, Barnes, David Lee. Like there's a bunch of guys that you would have liked to have had.
It's weird to get, and even like forgetting those guys who was a little while ago in the last decade. Well, I guess KP was the last good one we would have thought they would have extended. I don't know if I'd want that contract anyway. But,
I wouldn't want that contract now, but I thought that was as sure of a sure bet that he was going to break the Charlie Ward course. I'm like, there's no way they're not going to.
Right on this roster, you're assuming that RJ Barrett will be the breaking of the Charlie Ward curse. Like it has to be. Like that's the guy. Like he's going to be extended, right?
I would really, really think so, but with this team, you just never know.
Right, and we really would have just said, like when Knox got here, we'd be like, well, this guy will be here for a while. Ntilikina, like, I mean, the Knicks would keep him past his rookie deal. No one gets, and those guys obviously weren't very good, but it's just amazing. Like the KP thing, like you would have thought they would have.
I mean, I felt confident about Gallinari breaking the streak.
Yeah, he had a lot of injuries after the Knicks traded him, or even with the Knicks, he was injured a lot. I
feel like he's healthier now that he's not on the Knicks.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that like pulled the Grand Hill. Eventually, he just got really healthy.
Yeah.
Anyway, against the Hawks, the Knicks looked awesome from the whole game. They were from beginning to end. The starters looked great. The bench really didn't give them much, but the starters were awesome. Mitchell Robinson was a beast down low. Oh, we didn't talk about the biggest highlight of what was the biggest play of the entire Hornets game for the Knicks?
Was that the Mitch dunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson was above the 3-point line, was given the ball, and like what he normally does is just pass it to someone else, just hold it for a second until someone else can take it from him. And he's like, screw this. He drives to the basket and dunks. And we were like, everyone was like, holy crap, I cannot believe that just happened.
Right. It's like, oh, you could do that? Let's see more of that, please.
If he shat a unicorn, that would have been less surprising than him driving to the basket.
Yeah.
So you think he's going to break that? Do you think he'll break that out again? Like, are we going to see that again?
We'll see it again, but I feel like it's going to be one of those rare, like once every 2 weeks type of thing.
I don't know. There's so often when I watch him get the ball up, like when they basically give it to him up there as they're trying to reset, where I'm like, I wish the other team had to cover him because no one covers him up there. And like the lane is there. If he just does it a few more times where a guy's forced to cover him, that even makes things a little more open.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see him a little more agile on offense. Anyway, the Knicks were awesome there. They were terrible against the Hornets. Is there more to add about the Hornets game?
I want to talk about the Hornets game. Brent asks, what are your expectations with Cam? I don't expect much more than what Knox gives you, maybe the exception of ball handling. Everyone acts like we traded for Paul George, so I think they'll be so disappointed and want him gone after 15 games.
I mean, I've watched some highlights of the guy, and I've obviously seen him play against the Knicks. He's got a lot of potential, which is what we will be saying for a while. I think he's a better version of Knox. I mean, he looks like he has like a lot of potential to actually play defense, and I don't know. I guess worst case, he's just another Knox, and best case, he might be a real player.
I think he's going to be better, but I think people are acting like we got this like ridiculously good player. I
We
would
just
like
made
to
this
temper,
giant trade. Yeah.
yeah, I would like to temper my expectations a little bit. I mean, it'd be great if it worked out. Brent also pointed out his plus minus on defense is the worst on the Hawks.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like he's going to be a guy that's going to have his moments where you're like, he'll have some good games where you're like, holy crap. But he also seems like all his good games are based on his ability to shoot the lights out from three.
so when you trade for a player, you cannot trade him again for 30 days. So 30 days after the Cam trade is the day before the trade deadline.
I don't think they're trading Cam again.
Just
I know was this rumor that the rumor that he's going to be part of a bigger package.
If you're part of a
when a
bigger
first round
package,
pick would have been a better part of the package.
Depends. Maybe they've been doing their homework and they think.
If you had to put a percentage on the Knicks making a big move, not a small move, a big move before the deadline, what percentage would you put?
12%.
I feel like that's even high. I think it's maybe 1% chance they make anything big.
I only say that because there hasn't been like Leon Rose does not have leaks like other people.
No, he doesn't.
On
Yeah.
the Knicks. Like you knew everything they were going to do like a week before they did it, and now it's just like surprise. This just happened. So like I have to up the percentage a little because I don't know what's going on right now.
Right. I just feel like Cam Reddish is not a win now move. It's we're going to bet on this guy's future potential, which means I'm not playing for this season, which means I don't need to make a big move.
Anthony's saying 70%.
That is a big percentage.
Yeah.
And Anthony, by the way, if everyone doesn't know, is actually he's Leon Rose's personal assistant. So he knows everything Leon Rose is thinking. So we're good.
Breaking news.
Anthony's a super fan who is probably more knowledgeable than us. Well, everyone's more knowledgeable than us.
Facebook.
Questions? Greg writes.
Wait. Before we do that, I have to do it. DraftKings Sportsbook is here in New York. You can now bet on all your favorite sports right here in the Empire State on top of top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app. You know DraftKings for their daily fantasy contests, and now they brought their expertise to sports betting so that sports fans everywhere can get in on the action. Do you want to read this next week, Mark?
No, I can't read.
DraftKings Sportsbooks offers everything you would ever want from a sports betting app, from player props, the same game parlays. They have it all. You can now bet on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So check out DraftKings and tell them I sent you by using promo code NYKP. That's promo code NYKP. That stands for New York Knicks Podcast. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Right, you could have. So go on.
DraftKings Sportsbook. It's here in New York State. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. Must be 21 plus. Physically present in New York. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Done.
Cool.
Yes.
You want to give so who's going to be next game? If someone's going to make a bet for who would you bet on? What Knicks player are you going to bet to go off next game?
Our Obi strategy did not work from last episode.
Obi had like decent numbers.
I mean, 5 for 6 is, it's pretty good. If you extrapolate that over 36 minutes, he would have scored like 35 points.
It wasn't like most of his damage was also done in garbage time, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, Greg writes Zion for Randall. Who says no?
Me.
Jay.
I am scared to death of Zion. I know everybody wants him. Guy's missed 120 games already, like in 3 seasons. I don't know.
I think I know they're not the same player, but we've already had an Eddie Curry eat his way out of the league. I don't know if I want to bring in Zion. You guys, Greg also writes, you guys think Reddish will be in Kid Tibbs' doghouse or would actually play real minutes? And we all know it's hard to understand exactly how Reddish's minutes are going to fit in here. Reddish actually went to the Hawks beginning of this before the season started, saying he wanted a bigger role because they couldn't accommodate him. Was one of their reasons for like they understood he wanted a bigger role. They tried to accommodate him by trading him to another team.
Right.
Is Reddish going to get a bigger role here?
I don't know. He wanted a bigger role than 29 minutes per game.
20. I think he can get 29 minutes this year. I mean, 23 minutes a game this year.
Yeah, no, last year. He
Yeah,
went into
yeah,
the season
I guess
saying
he
he
wants
wanted
to
a bigger
be-
role than 29 minutes a game. That's like
Yeah, that's a lot of minutes actually. That's a good point.
yeah, and he started most of the games he played. That's
I feel like you guys should build the entire team around me. Yeah, dude. How about you learn to shoot first?
It's a little red flaggish.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like
We'll
you
see how
got a
it
deep
goes
team
here.
that's in the playoffs.
Do I think he'll be in Tibbs' doghouse? No, because I think Tibbs will play Reddish. Tibbs will play him at least 20 minutes a game. He'll find 20 minutes for him, just because the organization has traded for him.
If he plays
I
defense,
think
he'll get
Tibbs-
minutes.
He has a lot of potential on defense. I imagine the front office has said to Tibbs, we understand he's not where he needs to be on defense right now, but if you could work with him and make him a better defender, I think he's going to get it. I think Tibbs will give him a real shot.
Yeah, I do too.
Right. Frank writes, do you think it'd be a really dysfunctional organization if Rose traded for him and Tibbs was like, I ain't playing him?
Yeah. Nobody told me about this.
You'd hope they speak about these things. Frank writes, do you think if Clyde laced up against you guys that either of you could beat him one-on-one? Jay? So Walt Frazier is, how old do you think he is?
He's like 81, right?
76.
76.
He's 6'4". I'm 5'11". You're what, 6'1", Jay?
6.
You're 6. Okay. So he has got height, decent amount of height on us. He's 74. I have to say, I gotta be able to beat him at 74. I mean, he can't be that fast right
You
now.
said 76, right?
He's 76. I mean, at 66, he probably would school us. At some point, I mean, I'm not the most skilled basketball player, but the dude's 76. Like, come on.
I would say win, but not school. I think still think it would be close.
Oh, you'd say he'd win, but you'd keep it. It'd be a close game that he beats you.
Or if I won, I'd say if I won, it would be close.
Well, he's gonna score. I'm not gonna school him. Come on.
Yeah.
He's got to have like issues. He's got to have like hip issues. He's 76.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, an agile 76-year-old. Think of the oldest people you know in your life. Are any of them like running up and down the court against you?
No, but I did go to Stony Brook University and play basketball there, and there was this guy who was probably in his 60s that destroyed everybody.
You know what the thing also is? I bet he's a former NBA basketball player, a very, very good one. I bet he could shoot the lights out against you. So he was just basically, he's 6'4". He's obviously taller than you. He'll get all his shots off.
Yeah.
You're not going to really block him. So he'll probably just school you as far as like, he'll make most of the shots.
He'll make most of the shots, and so that means I would have to score every time, and I would probably score it first until I got tired, and then it would be like, then he would probably start pulling ahead.
He'd probably beat us both pretty badly at 76. Now, the more you think about it, I think he's just going to be old man shooting the lights out. He won't need his speed. I'll go around him, but I'll just miss a bunch of shots because I'm not like.
Yeah, just because I go around doesn't mean I'm going to hit the layup.
Yeah.
Because it won't
I'd
be a
really
layup.
have to
It's not like we can dunk.
Frank writes, should Toppin be fined every time he shoots a three? Why do the Knicks not like defending the 3-point line? For the first part, he made a three actually against the Hawks, I think. Or no, he made his first three against the Hornets today. But I still go with my theory that every time Toppin posts up from three or whatever, he's every time he's not post up, but spots up from three, he should take the ball and just throw it into the stands. That way the Knicks can get back on defense and we'd have better odds overall.
Do you know what he's shooting from three this season?
I'm gonna say 21%.
Lower, 20.
Wouldn't it be hilarious though if you just threw the ball to the stands really far and they're like, "Why'd you do that?" Well, the percentages said it was the best move. I'd really like to see him not stand there anymore. I don't know. If I was the other team, I would give him a solid. I would never cover him from 3-point line.
Yeah.
I would encourage him to go out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be like, whoever his man is, just cover someone else and see how this goes. We'll try to just like get him when he tries to drive the basket, but
Right, you don't want him within 10 feet of the basket, but you definitely want him 20 feet out.
yeah. So why don't the Knicks like guarding the 3-point line?
It just seems like they're not organized enough to know when to switch or when to help.
By the way, Miles Bridges was like a 30% 3-point shooter. He went 5 for 9 against the Knicks in threes today. Like that's just kind of like it wasn't like the Knicks like left him open over and over again. I mean, Knicks do leave guys open, but like the Knicks get a lot of open threes also. It's not like everyone's just shooting contested threes all the time in the NBA. A lot of times teams get a guy open for 3.
Yeah, but he did score an additional 18 points on top of those threes. So
No, I'm just saying why do guys? It seems like a lot of guys have freakishly good 3-point shooting games against the Knicks, like to the point where like if other teams were leaving them open, they wouldn't hit as many threes. It's like guys are just like happen to have the best 3-point shooting night of their whole season against the Knicks this year.
I think because when other teams leave you alone at the 3-point line, it's like startling and it throws you off. You go into Knicks games and that's just on the board. Like you're going to take open threes tonight, and so they're already expecting it, and it's easier to shoot in that situation.
But like the Knicks, like they didn't shoot a lot of contested threes. Like most of their threes were open. Also, was I missing something? I'm always watching them. They find the open guy and they have the open guy shoot. The Knicks just miss those shots.
Yeah, they have a lot of streaky, not great shooters.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. It's just it just seems like there's so many guys this year. If you did your Knick effect just for 3-point shooting, forget the whole like whoever has their best night I bet a lot of players have had their best 3-point shooting night of the year against the Knicks this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, super frustrating. But
Brent
why don't the Knicks
said
like
Randall looked better in the last game? Seems to play better when in a flow, catch and shoot, or a quick pull up.
I agree. Yeah.
Nomad said we hitched our ride to an inefficient player like Randall. What do you think Randall's trade value is? Also, I have Randall on my fantasy team, and it kills my field goal percentage and high turnovers. Well, I got you beat because I have Michael Porter Jr., who has a worse field goal percentage and more turnovers. So I feel your pain.
Shouldn't Julius Randle be a guy that gets? He should be at 50%.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Like he has the ability to go to the basket. He shoots so many stupid shots. Like at the very least, he should be shooting 50% from 2. And I don't understand. Earlier in his career, like I'm looking back at his stats now. When he was 23 and 24, when he was with the Lakers and the Pelicans, he shot 57% and 56% from 2. Why is his 2-point shooting so down?
He's not playing under the rim anymore. Even his 2-point shots are like long twos, dribbling into a triple team and then jacking stuff up.
I feel like he settles for too many shots too often.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not trusting teammates or I don't want to say he doesn't have the court vision because he's averaging 5 assists a game. That's not nothing.
He just forces stuff too often. Like he plays like there are times in the game where he looks great, and then there's times in the game where like he just tries to force something because the offense is just not working, or he's trying to play hero ball. It's almost like he hit all those hard shots last year, so he assumes he can do it again this year. And the way guys become better shooters, like in the NBA at least, is they learn to stop taking the stupid shots. And he like almost has like extra confidence with those stupid shots because he made so many of them last year.
Yeah. He also like had an abnormally good 3-point shooting last season. Now he thinks he's like a sniper.
Yeah, it's 3-point shooting. I feel like it's been a little better lately, but I don't even know. We hitched our ride to a guy that hitched our wagon.
Are you reading the comment I just read?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just trying to say I'm agreeing. I don't know why I said the exact same thing I just said, but like I feel like it's We really need RJ Barrett to take. You need RJ Barrett to take over, become the guy. Randall can become. He can become the 2, and then this team makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Greg writes. Brian writes. Reddish debut. Assuming he plays today, he did not. And Greg writes realistic trade ideas. I don't really have any realistic trade ideas right now. I really think the team's going to have to kind of roll with this. Like, what do you think's out there, Jay? What moves are you really making with this roster?
I think you try and get Brunson, and if not, then you don't really do much. Because, like, Robinson is playing pretty good now. Do you really want to trade Robinson now when it looks like he's actually, like, figuring out offense?
Do you are you going to trade? If you're Dallas, you're trying to like do something this year in the playoffs. And Dallas hasn't had the best season. They're playing a little better lately. Actually, they're playing pretty well lately, except for when they got hammered by the Knicks. Why would you trade Jalen Brunson during the season? If anything, just wait till the offseason, work out a sign and trade, be involved in that. But like, why would you trade Jalen Brunson when you're trying to make a playoff push?
The only way you do that is if you think he's going to walk and you're not going to be able to do a sign and trade and you're just going to lose him for nothing. So you're going to try and cash out now. That's the only.
No, I understand that. But if you're Dallas, aren't you trying to like pretend you want to win a title this year? I know they're not really that close.
Yeah, if you're Dallas, do you really think you're that close to a championship?
I mean, you say we have Doncic, so at any time we could make a run. I don't know. I feel like when you have like a player of Doncic's level, you try to go for it every season.
I don't know.
You don't surrender mid-season by trading away one of your better players.
I don't know if you think it makes you better for the next few years, because like they're not better than the Suns and the Warriors this year. They're just not.
Yeah, no. Dallas it would be very hard to see them win the title this year, but the West is pretty open also.
After the top 2. I think it's the Suns, Warriors, and then there's a huge gap.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I feel like I don't know. It's hard to say we're going to throw in the white flag, basically. I think it's hard thing for Dallas to say to Doncic, we're giving up on the season by trading Brunson.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, yeah. So anyway, maybe they will. Who the hell knows? But I would think if they're trading Brunson, they're going to do it in a way to try to get better now.
Yeah.
You trade, hey, we traded Brunson, but like we got this guy back who will make us even better. Maybe who's a better fit, maybe. And that better fit is Evan Fournier.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't care about any other position right now. The Knicks haven't had like an elite point guard. What since rookie year Mark Jackson?
Jay, do you want to save this conversation for the day after the Knicks don't draft one this summer?
The day after they pass one up, who ends up making the All-Star team?
We're going to be talking about like they'll also be like when the draft works out, there'll be 8 guys who are like, well, these 8 guys are all like they're all All-Stars. Knicks have to draft one of them, and the Knicks were good. The Knicks will still pass on all of them and draft someone else.
Just like the Knox here.
We got a backup for Obi, who's the backup for Julius Randle. We got another power forward. You can't have enough power forwards.
Brent says, trade Mitch now. We need a floor spacer so desperately to open lanes for abundance of wings and lack of shooters. And
we need more shooting. Jesus, we need a lot in this team.
Yeah.
We are not. It's really hard to figure out the 3 to 5 year plan to get us to make us contenders.
I know. And
at the same time, sorry, were you gonna say, Jay?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you look around the league, there are a few teams that have made the leap where they were like, where a year or two ago you've been like, I don't know how this team has a shot of competing anytime soon, and now they're ahead of us.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bulls, who have the best record in the East, last year they didn't make the playoffs, and in many ways I was like, why are they trading all these firsts for Vucevic, and like, what are they doing? They're just wasting their future. The Bulls went all in, and now maybe they'll come. Maybe they might have a chance of coming out of the East. I mean, they do have the best record right now. They're playing great. Like, they're going to play competitively. They jumped and became a competitor. A contender.
Yeah, I mean, adding
Cleveland,
3 All-Stars will do that.
yeah, but it wasn't like they made that a very fast move. Though.
Yeah.
They won all. It wasn't like they drafted these guys and they really switched gears really fast. With really, they just built on Zach LaVine, and then everyone else was acquired.
Yeah.
By the way, they drafted a guy a couple picks after we drafted Deuce, and I like Deuce, but this guy Io, I forget his last name with a D, who's playing really well also.
Awesome.
Other teams seem to find even better players than we seem to find in the draft, which I guess is the whatever. The Cavs are another team that really jumped us. They were bad. They're looking pretty darn good, and they have quite a bright future. And the third team that I want to say, I don't know if you can say they jumped us, but they suddenly became a major contender in the West. Is Memphis, and obviously they have Ja, who looks like an MVP candidate this year. We missed by one goddamn pick. We're trying to figure out if RJ can be consistent for a season. The guy we missed out by one pick looks like a goddamn all-star.
Well,
looks like not an all-star. He looks like a first-team NBA player this year.
The thing is, I was told that the Knicks could not draft Shea because they already had Frank, and Cleveland drafted Garland when they already had Sexton.
Yeah, yes. But anyway, Memphis also, by the way, they got Desmond Bane. Looks pretty darn good there. He was we got IQ. A couple picks later was Desmond Bane.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather have Desmond Bane. Bane looks like he's a pretty darn good player.
He's shooting
and
really
he's consistent.
bad though, right?
Bane?
Yeah.
No, I thought he was shooting well. I thought he was shooting well.
I think you're hallucinating. Or
maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
He's shooting 46% from the field, 42% from three. He's shooting almost 7 threes a game. You're thinking of someone else. He made this is his second year. He's made quite a leap. He's averaging 17 points a game. He's one of the reasons they're really good.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
Oh, okay. And Bane was drafted, and again, it's all about draft, like nailing the draft and so forth. This guy was drafted. He was the 30th pick, so it was a few picks after IQ. And again, you could find anyone. You don't always have to have a top pick, but like.
I was thinking of Baisley.
But same team. But I remember people talking about the Knicks should take Bane, and not that I do back then. And he went a couple picks later, and they're like, "Oh, he would have been a nice guy to get." And we got the guy IQ, but we could have got him in the second round. Maybe the Knicks could have just like drafted Bane and then drafted IQ in the second round. That probably would have worked out also.
All right, we are out of time. Quick question. Anthony writes, will you trade for an injured Dame if it takes Cam, Obi, IQ, and a pick?
No. I don't want to trade for an injured guy. I don't
want to trade for an injured guy who's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, my bigger point was there are 3 teams that went from being like in just being bad teams and now are all contenders. So we just need to figure out our secret for some goddamn way to do this also.
I mean, with basketball, you just need that one guy.
Yeah. You need that one guy to come up and really step up. Who knows? I mean, maybe Grimes like next year takes like a leap.
Yeah, could happen.
Who the hell knows? I think he was a top 10 recruit out of high school.
All right. So we are NY Knicks Podcast. NY Knicks Podcast at gmail.com. NY Knicks Podcast at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. I just uploaded the first 46 episodes of the podcast to the Patreon. So sorry about the people who are already Patreons. I didn't realize you get an email every single time I upload an episode. So some of you guys got bombed this weekend, and apologize for next weekend when I upload up to episode 100. So.
We have some awesome fans that want to go listen to previous like older episodes, which Jay is trying to make it happen for them. Wouldn't it be great, Jay? Like 20 years from now, we're both like retired or hopefully retired, and we're like, hey, remember that time the Knicks drafted Hall of Famer I'm trading for Hall of Famer Cam Reddish?
That would be very nice.
Let's hope that's like when ends then they have some optimism.
I really want the Knicks to win a championship before we end the show.
I wanted them to win a championship before I die.
True. All right.
That would be. We should actually like if they win the title, we can call it quits. There's no way the show will ever get better. They'll never get better from there.
That's what I did with the Giants when they beat the Pats for the second time. I never watched football again, and it was the best decision I made. I was like, my favorite team.
That's when you canceled your New York Giants podcast.
My favorite team beat my least favorite team, and I'm like, there's nowhere to go from here. I'm just done. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for joining in the chat. If you want to join the chat, you could give us a follow. You get a notification when we go live, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon and youtube.com/TITOWAJ. And we will be back next week. You're done talking, right, Mark?
I'm never done talking, but you can end the show if you want. Did you end the show already or not? I came.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
We did it. We got through another episode.
Yes, we did it. Hang on, I want to try this. Try something for a second while we're on this.
Okay.
You have the room still open.
I do.
Okay. Why is there no noise?
Are you gonna play something copyrighted so that we get this?
No.
episode?
I did my Amazon Prime subscribe thing.
Oh, maybe there's a lag. Maybe we'll hear it in a minute.
I thought there was a noise for that.
There should be. I mean, we heard it
Okay.
before. Maybe there's a lag.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hear it in
I'll
like
know.
30 seconds when we're in the middle.
I just gave us a free sub.
Awesome.
What? God damn it. Do we get anything for that?
Yeah, we got like
God damn it. Is that what is that like what happens?
it's just you say good. I want to change it. I want to every time somebody subscribes, I want it to have it just be you saying "God damn it."
That'd be pretty funny. I'm just watching all these teams that made these leaps, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't it be my team? There are so many goddamn teams that make a leap. There's so many teams that were bad who are now good, and the Knicks cannot. And I understand drafting is a huge component of this, and we're finally kind of getting it. But holy fuck! And I watch Obi. Is the room still open, Jay?
Yeah.
I watch Obi, and I'm just like, early in the year, I was really trying to believe in his potential. And now I'm like, is this dude just going to dunk and do nothing else?
Wow.
And he's just not that aggressive anymore. I was really hoping he'd take some kind of real leap this year. I guess he's better than last year, but like, it's not a huge, and maybe he'll make the leap next year. I don't know. But Obi's been kind of like he went from being like, I was excited. Last year was a disappointment. This year, I kind of got on the bandwagon. And now I think the bandwagon has crashed and is on fire.
Had to wait for the after show for you to reveal that you're no longer an Obi truther.
I just, you remind me next show, I'll go off on it again. I don't know. I'm hoping he can do more and just be more aggressive. And I would like to see the Knicks try playing Randall and Obi together a little more. He's been disappointing lately, though. He hasn't looked very good lately. Am I wrong about this?
That's been my narrative all season. I mean, maybe he's just not that good. Is that crazy? Because he does flashy dunks, he has to be good. I mean, maybe he's not that good.
I just know Obi's. I wouldn't put a lot of money on betting on Obi breaking the Charlie Ward curse. It'd be cool if you could bet on DraftKings on who's going to break the Charlie Ward curse.
And nobody
Your
would have-
odds like aren't very good for like obviously like RJ's the guy you bet on, but
Yeah, nobody would have won any money for 27 years.
people just been like, honey, I mean, it was a sure thing. He was KP and been like, anyway, we don't have a house anymore, honey.
You were talking about teams that have leapfrogged the Knicks.
Yeah.
We have seen teams leapfrog the Knicks, crash, and then leapfrog the Knicks again. Like, that's how long they've been bad.
Well, yes, you're right. That the Knicks have been bad for so goddamn long. But I meant like just recent history.
Like,
the last
Cleveland
couple of
has
years.
risen and fallen 3 times since the Knicks have sucked.
Yes, a lot has happened since the Knicks have sucked. But I mean, the Phoenix Suns had an entire run with like Steve Nash and company. Then like were miserable for like so many goddamn years, and now they're like one of the best teams in the NBA.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just going with the last 20 years. The Knicks have been so terrible.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. Like, team like Miami was really good, and completely dismantled the team, and then rebuilt a championship contender, and the Knicks are still in the same exact spot.
Same exact spot every goddamn. It's got to be. There's got to be some way. I don't. I mean, I guess we have to really hope Leon Rose does what he's doing and can figure this out. But it's hard to even like. Leon Rose can't make RJ play better.
Yeah. So
I mean, RJ was the obvious pick at the time. But what's his name on Garland looks like a better player. Right now, at least.
Yeah. So I had a healthy team for the first time all season. I won 7-2, almost won 9-0, and
That'd been awesome.
now Durant goes out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, your team's goddamn cursed. I mean, sorry, you're goddamn cursed.
I moved up to 6th place, so I might be able to hold on to make the playoffs. We'll see.
You have a while though. Like
I have a while, but Durant is out for a while.
that's a huge loss. You were so excited for Clay. Clay hasn't done that much yet.
No, he's been shooting really bad, but I figured he'd be rusty. He hasn't played in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have random guys like Okongwu playing good. But
Oh, is he playing well?
Yeah, he's playing pretty good. He had a steal and 3 blocks today.
Okay.
But yeah,
He's
like,
also another guy that the Hawks will have to pay. That's why they have to move on from Cam.
hopefully Durant comes back before the playoffs, because if not, I am screwed. Absolutely screwed.
I mean, I want him to come back for your fantasy team, but I'm fine with him missing the rest of the season for the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he comes
By the way,
back.
Sorry, go on.
I hope he comes back for the fantasy playoffs, but if he's out for like the actual NBA playoffs, it's fine with me.
And also, not to get bitter about every guy the Knicks didn't draft, but Cam Johnson, who you pointed out to me the other day, is looking pretty good for the Nets.
Anthony said the Knicks have sucked through 2 wives and 2 kids.
Oh my god.
I mean, Mark's had 2 kids, and
Yeah. Knicks
One of-
have sucked. I got
What-
married. I've been married for a long time now. I have
One of your kids is getting really close to high school, right?
my son starts middle school next year.
Yeah.
My kids are 10 and 7. They'll this year they'll turn 11 and 8. And my son in September will start 6th grade, which is middle school here, which is just crazy. They'll be in middle school,
Yeah.
and the Knicks have just been garbage. I told him that the Knicks got rid of Kevin Knox, and he's like, Dad, but you said he was going to be good. I'm like, yeah. He's like, Dad, why do you lie to me about these players? I'm like, I don't know.
Why'd you tell him Knox was going to be good?
Well, back in the day when they drafted him, I watched it. I watched the draft after I knew the results with him. And if you remember, I don't know if you remember this. And so I was so disappointed about the Knicks drafting Knox. But when I watched it with him, like, and this is a couple years ago.
Just to get him excited, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, we were watching the draft. I'm like, hopefully this guy Kevin Knox will fall in the Knicks. It's not like he reads the paper,
Right.
so I was kept like, hopefully we get Kevin Knox. Hopefully we get, and so he was like jumping up and down when we got Kevin Knox.
That's so mean.
Whatever. And like now he's just like he doesn't really buy my like. He's like they all suck. Like I tried to talk him into Obi Toppin, and he's like He's like, all the Knicks suck, Dad. Everyone you tell me he's not very good. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, he learned.
He still likes the Knicks in theory, but he doesn't watch a lot of games with me.
I don't blame him. I mean, they're not
He's
fun.
He's not missing a lot of wins.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to hit the sack.
Okay.
Anthony said he just makes fun of me after year. Yeah, the Knicks suck. Why would you keep watching them? Don't you like the Warriors? Yeah, the younger generation doesn't care. They'll just switch teams. Like, I'm a Warriors fan this year. If the Heat are good next year, I'll be a Heat fan. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
It seems weird. Like, are you really that happy if a team you started rooting for like 2 months ago wins? Like, how do you get emotionally invested? You're just like,
I heard someone gave some analysis. They were talking about how like they were switching teams, and they're like, like this is the whole thing's about entertainment. It's not really entertaining watching the Knicks, so I'm gonna become a fan of whatever. I'm like, well, yeah, it is really about. It's not like this ain't war. Like it's not
Yeah.
about allegiances. I guess it's really just about entertainment. And like, you feel entertained by watching a good team. Can't really blame you.
my dad does that with football. It drives me up the wall. Like,
Yeah.
the Super Bowl will be on. I'm like, who are you rooting for? He's like, I don't know yet. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like the middle of the first quarter. How do you not even know who you're rooting for?
You know what? I have to say, sometimes in the Super Bowl, I'm not like if I don't care about the two teams. I want to watch the game, but like I just prefer a good game, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but my dad
But I
does
can't-
that for like every single game, like every single team.
I do find myself so invested in my teams, I can't even enjoy watching other teams play.
Mhm.
Like in baseball, I can't watch two teams that aren't the Mets. The Mets make me miserable, but I can only watch them play. Everyone else, like at the World Series, they're like World Series. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I even like baseball. I just like watching the Mets lose. Apparently,
See, I was like that with every sport except basketball. I can watch any two teams play. I just like basketball.
I can watch. I love. I mean, I like baseball, but like, yeah, I can watch any two basketball teams play. I can watch any two football teams play. But baseball, I can't watch anyone besides the Mets. And even lately, even with basketball, I'm like, I really just want to watch the Knicks play.
Oh, for me, I'm like, I just want to watch a good team play.
Yeah, I guess you don't like watching the Knicks. I guess.
No, like I was Warriors Suns. I was like, yeah, let's bring it. Let's watch some real basketball.
It's more that I do like watching, but I'll go out of my way to watch my team,
Mhm.
and I won't go like I'm not gonna stay up late to watch the Golden State Warriors Phoenix Suns. Even though I'd like to watch that game, I'm not gonna stay up late for it. But
Yeah.
if the Knicks were somehow involved, sure, I'll stay up late.
Well, I mean, also since I got the PS5, I'm way less motivated to watch random basketball teams play now.
My father-in-law finally got a PS5.
Nice.
So is it that much better?
No, it's just it's faster, and soon there will be PS5 only games. Right now, they're coming out with games for PS4 and 5.
Okay.
But I'm always so late into each cycle. I wanted to get in near the beginning, like finally, because I usually get like you got the PS4 right before the PS5 came out. Like I'm usually like that. I'm like so late to the game.
Are there going to be games that come out that are going to make it feel worth it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
They're also coming out with PlayStation Virtual Reality 2, which is going to be PS5 only, and it's going to have like crazy specs.
You mean like a wearable like an
Yeah.
Oculus?
Yeah, it's going to be like Oculus, but like even better.
When's that coming out?
Probably next Christmas.
Oh. My son wants the Oculus for his birthday, which is June.
You
And I
guys what
can't.
you did with
I'm not going
the
to. I'm not
PlayStation?
convincing him to wait till next Christmas.
Just like PlayStation, where you get it like.
I'm
6
I'm
months
only
before
getting
the
stuff
game
that's
comes
about
out.
to go out of style. I'm getting tech that the people are about to like throw away, and paying top dollar for that tech.
Right. But yeah, like the PS5 is going to be like the games are going to be in 4K, and it's going to be ridiculous. I'm playing the Guardians of the Galaxy game right now. It's really good.
Yeah, I feel like the NBA 2K like on the PS4 looks pretty good. I can't imagine how much better the PS5 version of it is.
The first year or two a new console comes out, they're still figuring out the tech, and it's going to look similar to the previous generation.
So I'm not going to see much of a difference right away. Okay, got
But
it.
year 3, you're going to be like, holy shit! like they figured out this tech, and now it's like they figured out how to.
It's not
optimize
like
it.
the old systems. Like when Sega Genesis came out, immediately everything looked better. This is like it takes a while for them to like catch up to it.
Well, even back with Genesis, if you look at the games that came out when it first came out versus the like right before the Genesis ended, the graphics were better.
I mean, I don't remember that. I remember seeing like Altered Beast being like, "Wow, this looks really cool."
Well, like remember like Super Mario Brothers, like Super
Yeah.
Mario Brothers 3 looked like a lot better. They just
Yeah,
you know
fair, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
they figure out how to optimize the tech. Yeah, Anthony put in a request for a game. I'll stream that one.
cool. Brink, you want to do Brink this week?
I think so. Yeah. It would have to be Wednesday, right? Could Knicks play Tuesday, Thursday?
Oh yeah. I was trying to figure out why you said that. Yeah, it would have to be Wednesday, I guess. Okay.
All right. We'll see if we can get Bry to stay up.
There's no way Bryce going to stay up. I actually want to crash right now, also. So, but let's try to plan on Wednesday.
All right. All right. Thanks again,
Okay.
guys, for joining the chat. And Mark, I'll talk to you soon.